Cool. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Kevin Wright Show. Welcome back to the podcast. You made it to the podcast today. You made it to the show. You made it to the best show in town. Thanks for being here. Today we're talking about the 3 enemies of happiness, the 3 blockers of happiness. 3 happiness blockers. Now these are not, my disclaimer is there's a shit ton of blockers to happiness. There's a lot of things that can mess up our happiness. First of all, who even the fuck knows how to describe or give a definition for happiness? That's a huge thing. There's 1,000 different books about that. So these are 3 of my enemies to happiness, 3 of my blockers to happiness. I've got more. There are more, but I think these are the most engaging ones. These are the big ones. This is a big deal. 3 enemies of happiness, 3 blockers to happiness. We're going to get into those here in a minute. We're going to be doing a podcast series on this. I'm going to break each one down and kind of talk about my experience because I think it's important. Also, I want to say this. Most of our enemies in life are not people. You know, most of our enemies, most of the roadblocks in our life are our own doing. So the 3 enemies to happiness, a lot of times we think our enemies are people, a specific person, an ex-lover, an ex-relationship, an ex-family member. Like we get tricked into thinking that if this one enemy went away, this one enemy, this human was off the face of the earth, I would be happy. This person is my happiness blocker. Most of the time, that's not the case. Most of the time, we're just living in a situation where somebody really hurt us and we're experiencing that pain and we're going through all that stuff where that person messed with us. Learn to let karma take care of them. Karma does a way better job of getting revenge than we ever will. But I do want to say this, like in compassion, when you feel like your life is not happy, when you feel like you're not experiencing happiness and peace and that good, productive, progressive flow, that flowy flow, when you're not experiencing that because a person hurt you, I get that. That's real. And I lived in a state of non-forgiveness towards specific people for a long time. And I get that. So I vibe with that. But most of the time, our blockers to happiness are not people. So here are my 3 big blockers to happiness. And then I'm going to break each one down. First one, procrastination. Procrastination is a huge blocker to happiness. Procrastination. God damn, that's huge. And that's tough. This is one of the toughest ones on the list. I've also got, these are my 3 for today that we're talking about. A lack of a creative outlet. Lack of a creative outlet. There is something so fulfilling with finding a way to be creative in your life. Writing, doing a podcast, writing music, writing scripts, writing stories, writing a blog, writing a vlog, making videos, having a YouTube channel. There are so many ways to do something creative. Painting, drawing, building furniture, remodeling furniture. Having a lack of a creative outlet is a huge blocker to happiness, and you don't realize how much more happy you could be, how much more at peace you could be when you have an amazing creative outlet. So we'll get into that. And the third one, the third blocker to happiness is putting bad shit in your body and not feeling good. There's so many of us who just don't feel good on a regular basis because we're filling our bodies with bad shit, bad drink, bad food, bad drugs, stuff that's messing with us. And that builds up over time and we just get wrecked. 3 blockers to happiness: procrastination, putting bad shit, bad food in our bodies, and a lack of a creative outlet. Procrastination, first one on the list. Procrastination. I'm going to say this is the hardest one. I know there's times in life where you just can't get shit done. You can't finish that research paper. Oh, this morning I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking about all the negative things in life. And I went to a dark place. I'm not going to lie to you. I went to a dark place. But as I'm like dwelling on bills I got to pay, on things I want to do to take care of my kids, on places where I'm failing, I'm kind of wallowing in self-pity, wallowing in my failures, sitting in a shitty cesspool of my failures, laying in bed this morning. There was also the little voice. I call like there's good gremlins and bad gremlins that we deal with. One of the good gremlins that lives inside me was like, dude, just get the fuck up and get out of bed. Get out of your bed right now. Start your day, get out of bed, get out of bed. You'll feel better. You'll start flowing. You'll get the blood flowing. You'll start moving. You'll drink some water. You'll get a shower. You'll wash the sadness and the depression off of your shitty self. Get out of bed. And I heard this little voice, and it was me talking to me. It was my good gremlin. It's like, get out of bed. But I wouldn't. I wanted to, like, maybe I can get some more sleep. But it's not working. And I'm procrastinating on starting my day. I'm procrastinating on progress. And dude, I got more and more depressed. I went down the nastiest rabbit hole. Procrastination is one of the biggest blockers of happiness. Procrastination comes in many shapes and forms. What's that one project? What's that one idea that's in your mind that you're thinking about? What's that one idea that is on your brain, on your heart all the time, but you just aren't pulling the trigger? You know, one of the biggest reasons procrastination takes over is because of fear. What will people think if I start this new career? What will people think if I try this new creative hobby? What will people think if I talk to this type of person? What will people think if I show the world that I actually have this strong belief and it was hidden in me before? What will people think? So there's a lot of things that could push your life in a happier direction, but we're procrastinating usually because of fear. Fear of response, fear of what our family will think, fear of what our friends will think. We can't let procrastination be one of our major enemies, but it is such a blocker of happiness. And a lot of us have like this bucket list of things we want to do, this bucket list of ideas, this bucket list of goals, and we just never get to them. We procrastinate because of fear. Dude, I do that all the time. I'm in my late 30s and I'm just now starting to like fight long-term fear issues in my life. What will people think? What will people think if I started a YouTube channel? What if I make mistakes? What if I say stupid shit? What if I embarrass myself? And yet I'm procrastinating on moving forward creatively. I'm procrastinating. I mean, there are some people who let's just say that they're just natural at not procrastinating. Some people use the term ambitious. That's a very ambitious person. But you can learn to be ambitious. Ambition can grow. That's something that is not necessarily like a trait. But there are some people that are just born able to get shit done. Higher energy levels. They can move and shake. They have a little bit more freedom. Some of that is real. Understand that. When you see somebody who's just out crushing stuff all the time, moving through projects, not procrastinating, getting up at 3:30 in the morning to get in a workout and then get in healthy food and then do something creative and then go make money before the rest of us even wake up. Oh, those people are animals. Those people, I hate you and I love you. One quick simple tip, because this is just my overview of the 3 happiness blockers on procrastination, is put a couple goals down, write them on paper and put it in your back pocket. Put 3 goals down that you want to accomplish in your life. And you know that you're procrastinating. Put them down on paper and put them in your pocket. And here's the magical thing. Those 3 goals, you're going to see them, you're going to write them down every day and put it in your pocket. They're going to start bubbling up out of you. They're going to go from your back pocket through your butt, maybe through your butthole, into your heart and into your soul. And that's going to flow out of you. Those 3 goals, that they will bubble out of you, but you've got to be on it. You've got to be on it. And like, what are you procrastinating about? You know, what are you procrastinating about? It is one of the biggest blockers to happiness. One of the reasons why procrastination hurts our happiness is because we get stuffed up with all these cool ideas and cool goals and cool thoughts, and they get all clogged in here, and we start sitting in a place of failure. Man, I didn't do that. I didn't meet that person. I didn't connect with those people. I was too scared to start this project. I was too scared to apply for this job. I was too scared to quit this job and go independent in this category. All that stuff, all the stuff that we were fearful about, all the stuff that we procrastinate on can build up and get clogged in us and swirl around. And one of the best ways to get rid of procrastination is to start going through your list. Get that shit out there. Get that shit out there. Procrastination. There's so much more to say about this. We'll break it a little bit down more. Okay, the next one, number 2. Putting bad shit in our bodies that makes us feel bad. This is so simple. What a blocker to happiness. Have you ever just talked with somebody who's like, I just don't feel good. My body hurts. My joints hurt. I just don't feel good on a regular basis. So much of feeling good in this life is what we drink. You know, when you drastically change your diet in a healthier way, everything gets happier. Everything feels better. Sleep gets better. You look better. You feel better. You like yourself more. That is so huge. And yet we'll continue eating shitty stuff, staying up late and binging on shitty food just because we don't care anymore. We've given up. Our hobby has become watching TV at night, and we worked hard all day, and now we're going to treat ourselves and eat some bullshit. But honestly, in the long run, that is a huge happiness blocker. Dude, make a list of the bullshit that you're putting in your body on a regular basis. The sugar. Let's just talk about sugar for a second. And dude, I am not judging. I fail at my diet all the time. You can listen to one of my podcasts on my diet journey. I fail at my diet all the time. It's so tough. It's so tough to do it right. But I fail at it all the time. But I also know, I know 100%, as most of us do, as you do, I'm sure too, that when you are eating clean and you are eating the things that make your body feel good, the rest of life takes on a great shape and lots of good shit starts to happen. But when you're not feeling good, when there's inflammation running through your body because you have too much sugar and too much bread, and your body is bloated on a regular basis, you're not feeling lean and feeling strong, and your muscles aren't taken care of, and your blood flow is not working well, and you're not drinking enough water. When you are eating all that shit, the inflammation builds up and your life just takes a downward turn. It's one of the most simple things. It's such a healthy move. But I put this at the top of my 3 blockers to happiness because it's huge. I can't tell you how many people I run into, how many people talk to me and say, I just want to feel better. Well, shit, you got to start with putting good things in your body. You got to start with putting good things in your body. Try a new diet. Go back and listen to that podcast. I've got one here on my podcast setup, and it just talks about what makes me feel the best. I struggle with the ethics of all diets. I struggle with the spirituality of a lot of diets, the moral standards of a lot of diets, but I do know which one makes me feel the best, and that's something I got to look into. Find a diet that makes you feel the best about yourself. Yeah, it's going to take some discipline. It's going to take some discipline to have a good diet, to not put nasty shit in your body. Dude, I was talking to my dad the other day, and he made a simple change, one little simple change in his diet. We were talking about this concept. He's like, I want to feel better. He was drinking liters of Coke, full sugar Coke, Coca-Cola Classic, every day. And he was just pounding it. It was his like guilty pleasure. And he was always sick, sinus problems, always getting sick, always colds. And he had some major illnesses that he was also dealing with. Not saying that was from Coke, but filling his body with the sugar on a regular basis was not helping. He quit that and he started moving to Diet Coke. Then he started moving to water. And first of all, he lost like 30 pounds. That's crazy. That's a huge chunk of fat. He lost like 30 pounds and he felt lighter on his feet. And he started walking and moving more and working out more. And this was just from quitting eating full sugar corn syrup soda, eating Coke on a regular basis. It absolutely changed the way his life, changed the way he talks, changed the way he feels. He's way more positive. That's huge. One little change like that. One little thing. And you don't have to start in a drastic way. You could just cut out bread. Bread is like this pure sugar poison, and it doesn't make us feel good. Cut out the shit that you're putting into your body that does not make you feel good. That's a huge, huge key to happiness. We don't talk about this enough. We try to blame humans for our unhappiness. We try to blame our president. We try to blame world events. We try to blame natural disasters. But just take a look at what you're eating on a regular basis. It can change the way you feel about everything, and it will. And I'm not judging. I make shitty diet mistakes all the time. Yesterday, I drank way too much alcohol, and I did not feel good. I've got a hangover today. I've got a headache today. It has blocked my happiness. I thought it was going to be great. It wasn't that great. So we all mess up on this. All right, let's review before we get to the third one. Procrastination is a huge happiness blocker. Putting bad shit in our bodies, eating disgusting food, eating poison, eating things that do not make us feel good and build up over time and wreck us and make us fat and make us feel bad about ourselves. So simple. Number 3, a happiness blocker is a lack of a creative outlet. A lack of a creative outlet. When you are not being creative, your happiness quotient goes down. Your ability for happiness is always connected to how creative you can be. Now, it doesn't mean you have to become an amazing guitar player. It doesn't mean you have to become an amazing painter. It doesn't mean you have to become amazing at anything. But it's good to find a creative outlet. Start a podcast. Because all of a sudden you're doing this hobby. Start a YouTube channel. Because all of a sudden you're doing this hobby where you're focusing in a therapeutic way on a project that causes you to think. It causes you to examine the world. It causes you to come up with creative content. Try painting, try writing, try drawing, try building Lego models and submitting them. Build Legos. That's super creative. There is so many things that you could do as a creative hobby, a creative outlet, and it engages your mind, it engages you spiritually. This is a huge one, but so many people just don't challenge themselves creatively. It feels so good. One of mine, I've got many. One of mine is remodeling furniture and building new furniture and doing creative things with furniture. After a day of doing that, I feel so good about life. I've accomplished something. Sometimes I make stuff that other people really love and want to purchase for good money. I feel good about life. I feel really good about it. You worked hard. You conceptualize. You envision. You engineered something to exist that didn't exist before. That feels so good. Not having a creative outlet. It also doesn't mean that you have to interrupt your 9-to-5 job. You can just do your 9-to-5 job more creatively. Come up with more creative ways to do your job. Your boss will probably really fucking like that. A lack of a creative outlet. This is the most overlooked one. This is the one that people are not even examining. I don't do anything creative. I don't talk creatively. I don't brainstorm with my friends about creative projects. I don't hang out with creative people. Here's a little side note. Are you hanging out with people who just complain and talk shit all the time? Or are you hanging out with people and surrounding yourself who come up with new ideas, who examine new ideas, who say entertaining things, who think outside the box? Try to find some of those. Try to be one of those for your friend group. A lack of a creative outlet is always a blocker to happiness. A lack of a creative outlet. If you need ideas for creative outlets, email me, contact me. Send me a message, send me a comment. I will help you find a creative outlet. It is a blocker to happiness. Some people decorate their home as a creative outlet, and it's their hobby, and it becomes, they're looking for discount items to fit that perfect place. It becomes a therapeutic outlet for them. A lack of a creative outlet will always be a happiness blocker. It will be a happiness blocker. There are also, and don't get me wrong, there are people who are full-time creatives. Full-time writing music, full-time making film, full-time model, full-time photographer, and they have happiness issues. Like I said, these three are blockers to happiness, and we can work on them, but they're not the only things that block happiness. And accomplishing these and becoming great at these doesn't necessarily mean you're always going to be happy, but it helps. It really fucking helps. If you listen to anything that I say, these are things that are always coming up. Fighting procrastination. Letting the good gremlin tell you, get out of bed, dude. Get out of bed and go do it today. Get out of bed. Go on that run. Go talk to that person. Write down those goals. Fighting procrastination. Fighting bad food. Do not put bad shit in your body anymore. Or at least come up with a system and a rhythm that helps you fight it. Because you'll feel better and you'll be happier. A lack of a creative outlet. Oh. Final time. Enemies to happiness. Blockers to happiness. Constant procrastination. Constantly putting bad shit in your body. And constantly not having a creative outlet. This is huge. We're going to break these down a little bit more in the future. This is just a quick podcast on the Kevin Wright Show. I'm glad to be with you, and I love you, and I think about this shit all the time. I think about you, and let's get on this journey and try to figure out how to not be such assholes. You're with me on the Kevin Wright Show.